Okay, just check to make sure we are streaming. Yes, we are live. All right. All right. Here we go. Good to see everybody again. Okay, I'm gonna try something. Nitai pada kamala, Chandra Sushi Tala, Ye Chaya Jagachurai. Wait, it's going slowly. Let me close some of these other apps. Everything is slowing down. Wait a second. Close this app. Close this app. Close this app. Okay. Now it's better. Nitai pada kamala, Chandra Sushi Tala, Ye Chaya Jagatuhai. Ain't only time been by Radha Krishna boy day night. Dritakuri Darona Taibai. Say someone annoya Rita Janma Gailota. Say Pasho Barodurajara. Nitaina Bolino Muke Machila Samsara Suke Rijakule Kikori Bedara Ahankara Matai Yaha Nitai Bada Pasa Riya Asachere Sachakori Mani Nitaya Karuna Hoibe Raja Radha Krishna Hoibe Nitai Charana Tugani Nitaya Charana Satya Tara Sevaka Nitya Nitai Buddha Sadakuro Asha Narotam Boru Duki Nitamore Korasuki Rakoranga Charanira Pacha Nitai Padakamala Koji Chandra Shuchi Nana Jaya Nagachura Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Paravakarya, all Stutela, Satashi, Shimad, His Divine Grace, Alaya Chalanada Bhaktivedanta, Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anandakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Govardhan Shyama Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Mathuram Ki Jai. Jagannatha Swami Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Go Hari Hari Go. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Srila Prabhupada Haribol. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the Caitanya Bhagavat, and this is ecstatic. And we, of course, are reading about Lord Nityananda's early pastimes in this chapter of the Caitanya Bhagavat. Actually, first let me read the Manak Shiksha, which is about Lord Nityananda. In this material world which is progressing toward hell, there is always a blazing fire, and everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, if the world wants of real peace, it should take shelter under the lead of Lord Nityananda, which are cooling like shining of millions of moons. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult to approach Radha Krishna. Anyone who does not establish their relationship with Lord Nityananda is simply spoiling their boon of a human birth and the animal propensities of sense gratification. Never saying the names of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they become absorbed in so-called material enjoyment, and their academic education and birth in a high family or great nation will not protect them at the time of death. They become maddened by a false concept of bodily life, and thus they have forgotten their eternal relationship with Lord Nityananda. Such forgetful persons accept the illusory energy as factual. When you achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are not an illusion. They are a fact, and anyone who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda immediately achieves their transcendental position in the spiritual platform, which is eternal and blissful. Therefore, always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Narayana Das Thakur says, "My dear Lord Nityananda, I am very unhappy, so I'm praying to you to make me happy. Keep me in a corner of your lotus feet." Of course, Lord Nityananda is the original spiritual master, and we take shelter of him by serving the Vaishnavas, especially serving the spiritual master, and especially by going out and bringing other people to Krishna consciousness. That is our duty. Yes, somehow or other be part of this great movement, Prabhupada's movement. Okay, on that happy note, so Om Gana Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shi Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktavrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktavrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Okay, let us share the screen so we can read along. And where is that screen? It is somewhere. There we go. All right. We are ready. Just going to move a few of these little things that are just hanging on the side. Taking up space. And one other thing. All right. Just have to set up these windows here so you're all able to see and I'm able to see simultaneamente. Okay. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Move that out like that. Okay. Okay. Go. So, Pratama Vayasa Prabhu Ati Sukumbara Kolahete Karo Chita Nahi Evibara. In his early childhood, the Lord was most attractive. No one wanted to let him go from their laps. That's where we left off yesterday. Sarvaloke putrahite parasneha vase chinatena parikeha Vishnu Maya Voshe. Everyone had more affection for Nityananda than they had for their own sons. But no one could recognize him due to the influence of Lord Vishnu's illusory energy. Hey Namakte Shishukala Haiti Nityananda Krishna Lila Binara Nakare Ananda. In this way, from the beginning of his childhood, Nityananda had no happiness other than enjoying the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Vitamata Grahachari Sarva Shishu Gana Nityananda Sanghate Vihare Sarvakshana. All of his friends left their parents to constantly sport in the company of Nityananda. I would have done the same thing. Who cares about these parents when you have Lord Nityananda, right? You can do away with the parents. I just want to make sure my volume is all right. Yep, audio settings. A little higher, just okay. That's good. Yes, you can do away. So, I offer repeated obeisance at the feet of those boys who enjoyed the association of Lord Nityananda. Hey Mata Kritakare Nityananda Rai Shishu Haite Krishna Leela Binana Hi Baya. From his childhood, Nityananda had no interest other than enacting the various pastimes of Lord Krishna. Anantara Leela Kevapare Kahibare Tanhana Kripaya Yena Mataspure Yanre. Who can describe the pastimes of Lord Ananta? They are only manifest to one who has received his mercy. Hainamate Dwadasha Vatsara Taki Gare Nityananda Chalilena Tirtha Karibare. Lord Nityananda remained at home like this for 12 years. Thereafter he left for visiting the holy places. In other words, he left home permanently when he was 12 years old. Oh my God. Tirthayatra Karilena Vimshati Vatsara Tabi Sheshe Ailena Chaitanya Gochara. He traveled to the holy places for the next 20 years and then finally joined the association of Lord Chaitanya. So let's just do a little calculation here. Okay, so 20 years and 12 years is 32 years. So he was 32 years old when Lord Chaitanya was about 18 or 19. So not that much difference in age. Nityananda Tirtha Yatra Shuna Ari Khande Ye Prabhure Ninde Dushta Prapishta Pashane Ye Prabhu Karila Sarva Jagatu Dara Karuna Samudri Yanhabai Nahiyara Yanhara Kripaya Jani Chaitanya Tattva Ye Prabhura Dware Vyakta Chaitanya Mahatva. Please listen to this narration in the Adhikanda of the holy places visited by Lord Nityananda, who only the most degraded sinful atheists would dare criticize. The Lord who delivered the entire universe is nothing but an ocean of mercy. Only by his mercy can we know the truth about Lord Chaitanya. In fact, the glories of Lord Chaitanya are manifested through him. Wow. So Sri Nityananda Prabhu exhibited compassion towards the fallen, averse living entities, thus delivering the entire world. Being bereft of receiving his mercy, only the wicked, sinful atheists criticized him. Only Sri Nityananda has made the truth regarding Sri Chaitanya known to the world. Wow. Without his mercy, no one is able to enter into the glories of Sri Chaitanya by independent endeavor. So I think we're going to hear about how Lord Nityananda left home. Shuna Sri Chaitanya Priyata Mera Katana Yema Karila Tirtha Mandali Brahmana. Please listen to topics concerning Lord Chaitanya's dearest associate visiting the various pilgrimage sites. So, skip that purport. Pratame Chalila Prabhu Tirtha Vakreshvara Tabi Vaijanatha Vane Gila Ekeshvara. The Lord first went to Vakreshvara, then went alone to Vaidyanath. The word Ekeshvara means alone or being devoid of others' association. So there's a place called Vakreshvara, and then he went alone. Gaya Gya Kashi Gela Shiva Rajatani Yanhi Daradvahe Ganga Uttara Vahiti. He went to Gaya and then to Lord Shiva's abode Kashi, where the Ganges flows towards the north. Ganga Deki Badastuki Nityanandharaya Snanakare Padakare Arti Nahiyaya. Seeing the Ganges, Lord Nityananda was greatly pleased. He took bath and drank some water, yet his grief was not mitigated because he actually wanted to see Lord Chaitanya. Prayage Karila Magamase Prata Snana Tabi Mathuraya Gela Purvajanma Stana. In the month of Magh, January, February, the Lord took an early morning bath at Prayag. Then he went to Mathura, his former birthplace. That's where Lord Balaram appeared. The phrase Purvajanma Stana refers to the appearance place in the Dwaraka Yuga pastimes. Yamuna Vishramagate Kari Jalake Govardhana Parivate Bulena Kutu Hale. The Lord sported in the waters of Yamuna at Vishramagat, and thereafter went with great interest to see Govardhan. Haribo. Shri Vrindavana Hari Yatadvarashavana Eke Prabhu Sabya Karena Promana. The Lord visited each of the 12 forests, beginning with Vrindavana, because Vrindavana is the name of a particular forest as well as the whole area, depending on the context. Gokule Nanteragara Vasati Dekiya Vistara Rodana Prabhu Kadila Vasya. When he saw the house and courtyard of Nanda Maharaj at Gokula, he sat down and cried profusely. This is where Krishna actually was born, in Gokula. Later on, they moved to Nandagan. Tabi Prabhu Madana Gopal Namaskari Jalila Hastina Pura Pandavera Puri. Nityananda offered his obeisances to Madan Gopal and then went to Hastinapura, the abode of the Pandavas. So Madan Gopal later on became known as Madan Mohan. And he was, first of all, discovered by Advaitacharya. And then after that, Siddhartha Goswami took him and ultimately arranged to build a temple, the Madan Mohan temple. Bhaktastana Deki Prabhu Karina Krandana Mahabhushe Taritika Bhakti Shunyara Karana. Seeing the home of those devotees, Nityananda began to cry. The local people, however, could not understand the Lord's sentiment due to their lack of devotion. Balarama Kirti Deki Astina Nagare Trahi Haladara Bali Namaskara today. As Nityananda remembered Balaram's glorious activities in Hastinapur, he exclaimed, "O Haladara, please save me," and then offered obeisances. So just in reference to the previous verse, it says that because they didn't have devotion, or let's read the previous verse again. It's not in reference to the devotees in Braj. It's in reference to the devotees in Hastinapur, or people in Hastinapur. Because in Braj, everybody has devotion because Krishna is their guru. They're born in the lap of Krishna. So, Tabe Dwarakaya, Alena Nityananda, Samudre Kalila Snana, Haila Ananda. Thereafter, Nityananda went to Dwaraka, where he joyfully took bath in the ocean, because that's all the way on the west coast. Sirapura Gela Yata Kapilarastana Matsyatirte Mahotsave Kadilana Dana. Then he went to Sirapura, the place of Lord Kapiladev. Then he went to Matsya Tirtha, where he distributed foodstuffs at a festival. Shiva Kanchi, Vishnu Kanchi, Gela Nityananda Teki Hase Dwigane Maha Mahadvandva. Lord Nityananda then visited Shiva Kanchi in the adjoining Vishnu Kanchi. He laughed when he saw the two groups of followers quarreling there. So there's a whole story about Shiva Kanchi. Oh, actually, this is told in the purport. The second line of this verse refers to the Vishnu Kanchi residents who are Vaishnavas and the Shiva Kanchi residents who are devotees of Shiva, the devotee of Sankarshan. Due to their poor fund of knowledge, these two groups always debate over the positions of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. In other words, after observing their fierce animosity toward each other, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is non-different from the Mula Sankarshan of Vishnu, who Lord Shiva worships, began to laugh. Kurukshetra Pritudake Bindu Sarovarai Pravase Galena Sudarshana Tirtha Vare. Nityananda also visited Kurukshetra, Pritudaka, Bindu Sarovara, Pravasa, and Sudarshana Tirtha. Tritakupa Mahatirtha Galena Vishala Tabi Brahma Tirtha Chakra Tirthere Chalila. He also visited the great holy place called Tritakupa. He also went to Vishala, Brahma Tirtha, and Chakra Tirtha. Prati Shrota Gela Yata Prachi Saraswati Anaimi Sharanyetave Gela Mahamati. The Lord visited Prati Shrota, where the Saraswati River flows in the opposite direction. The most magnanimous Nityananda then went to Naimisharanya. So we're going to skip to this purport, which is a little bit lengthy. Tabe Gela Nityananda Ayodhya Nagara Ramachanma Bhumi Deki Kandila Vistara. He then visited the city of Ayodhya, where he cried upon seeing the birthplace of Lord Ram. And recently they're building a giant temple in Ayodhya. Previously, over the place where Lord Ram was supposed to have appeared, there was a mosque, and then the mosque got torn down. And now there is a giant temple being built, and the government gave permission for another mosque to be built in a different location. They gave them more land, so everybody's happy. Tabe Gila Guhaka Chandala Rajayata Mahamurcha Nityananda Pailena Tata. Nityananda then visited the Chandala Guhaka's kingdom, where he fell unconscious. So Guhaka was the class friend of Lord Ram who helped Lord Ram cross the river. And so, anyway, very dear to Lord Ram. So simply by remembering the activities of the Chandala Guhaka, Nityananda lost consciousness in ecstasy for 3 days. Yayavane Achila Takura Ramachandra Dekiya Hegadeyaya Nityananda. On seeing the forest where Lord Ramchandra had resided, Nityananda rolled on the ground in separation. Tabigela Sarayu Koshike Kare Snana Tabigela Polasta Shrama Punya Stana. Thereafter, the Lord took bath in the Sarayu and Koshiki rivers. Of course, the Sarayu River surrounds Ayodhya. Then he went to the ashram of Pulasya Rishi. Gomati Gandaki Shonatirthe Snana Kare Tabe Gila Mahendra Parvata Chudo Parade. Lord Nityananda took bath in the Gomati, Gandaki, and Shona rivers. He then climbed to the top of Mahendra Mountain. Such ecstatic pilgrimage. Oh my God. Parashuramere re tata kari namaskara tabe gila ganga janma bhumi haridwara. There he offered obeisances to Parashurama. Parashurama is on the top of Mount Mahendra. Wow, I should go there. Nityananda also visited Haridwar, the source of the Ganges. So actually the source of Gomukh. So Pampa, Vimarti, Gela, Sapta, Godavari, Vainvatirta, Vipashai, Majana Achari. The Lord took bath in the Pampa, Bimar, Rati, Godavari, Venva, and Vipasha rivers. Kartika, Dekya, Nityananda Mahamati, Ashri Parvata Gela, Yata Mahesha Parvati. After seeing Kartika at Madurai, Kartika was the son of Lord Shiva and Parvati, the most intelligent Nityananda went to Sri Shaila, the abode of Shiva and Parvati. Brahmana Brahmani Rupe Mahesha Parvati, say Sri Parvati Donhe Karinavasati. Shiva and Parvati reside on this mountain in the form of a Brahmin couple. Nija Ishtadeva Jina Dwi Jana Huta Rupe Kare Tirtha Paryatana. Upon Nityananda's arriving there, they understood that their worshipable was wandering on pilgrimage as a mendicant. Rama Santosha Donhe Atiya Pakakalilena Devi Harashiti Shita Haya, satisfied to receive such a guest, and Parvati happily cooked for the Lord. So that's pretty amazing. Parama Adare Viksha Dilena Prabhure Hasi Nityananda Donhe Kare Namaskare. They fed the Lord with great affection, and Nityananda smiled and offered them his respects. Ki Antrakata Haila Krishna Se Janena Tavi Nityananda Prabhu Dravide Gelina. Only Krishna knows what they confidentially discussed. Then the Lord continued his journey to Dwaraka, or South India. To Dravida, sorry, not Dwaraka. Dravida, or South India. Dravida provinces, okay. Make sure I pronounce that right. Dravida, not Dravida. Dravida. Dekya Venkataranata Kamakoshti Puri Kanchigya Sadidwara Kelena Kavari. The Lord visited Venkatanatha, yeah. Of course, that's, yeah, we know what that is. That's Balaji and Tirumala. Kamakoshti Puri, Kanchi, and the Kavari, the best of rivers. The word Saridwar is an adjective for the Kavari River. Tabe Gela Shri Raghunathera Punyastana Tabe Karilena Harikshetrere Puyana. The Lord visited the sacred place of Sri Raghunath. that's Ranga Kshetra. And thereafter he went to Hare Kshetra. Rishabha Parvate Gela Dakshina Mathura Kritamala Tamraparni Yamuna Uttara. He visited the Rishabha mountain, Madurai, and the Kritamala, Tamraparni, and the Uttara Yamuna rivers. Malaya Parvata Gila Gashalye Tahara Orishta Haila Deki Mahashaye. Nityananda Prabhu visited the ashram of Agastya Rishi in the Malaya hills. The residents there were all jubilant to see the Lord. Tasavara Titi Haila Nityananda Bharvika Shrame Gila Paramananda. Nityananda stayed as a guest in their ashram and then departed in great ecstasy for Badrika Shrama. Katadina Nara Narayanara Ashrame Achileta Nityananda Paramnirjane. Lord Nityananda resided in seclusion for some days in the ashram of Nara Narayan Rishis. Wow. Tabi Nityananda Gela Vyasaralaye Vyasachini Lena Balarama Mahashaye. He then went to the ashram of Srila Vyasadeva, who recognized that Nityananda was Balaram himself. Wow. Sakshadhaya Vyasa Atitya Karila Prabhu Vyasere Danda Panata Haila. Srila Vyasadeva personally received Nityananda as a guest, and the Lord offered his obeisances to Srila Vyasadeva. Tabi Nityananda Gela Bodhudera Bhavana Dekilena Prabhu Vasyache Bodha Gana. Lord Nityananda then visited the residence, this is a funny story, of the Buddhists. When he arrived there, he saw they were all sitting together. Giyasena Prabhu Ke Uttarana Kare Krudahai Prabhu Lati Harilena Shire Palaila Bodhagana Hasya Hasya Vani Brahmi Nityananda Nirbhaya. You have to understand what happened. It's very funny. The Lord asked a question, but no one replied. Becoming angry at them, the Lord kicked them in the head. They all simply smiled and ran away. Nityananda thus fearlessly continued his travels through the forest. Because they were just engaged in silent meditation. And they weren't properly given respect to the Supreme Personality of God, and they weren't chanting the Lord's names. They were just like, absorbed in the void or something like that. Tabi Prabhu Ailena Kanaka Nagara Durga Devi Deki Gela Dakshina Sagara. The Lord eventually arrived in Kanyakumari. After seeing Durga there, he went to see the Southern Ocean. So I don't know if these are all in sequence, these particular visits to the holy places, because they're skipping from, let's say, northern India to South India, from one description to another, and then back to North India. So, but at least Lord Nityananda visited all these places. Tabi Nityananda Gela Shri Ananta Pure Tabi Gela Pancha Apsarara Sarovare. Nityananda then went to Anantapura, and after that he went to Panchapsara. Gokarnakya Gelak Prabhu Shivera Mandire Kire Trigartake Bule Gare Gare. He next visited the temple of Shiva known as Gokarna. Means cow ears. Anyway, but there's a whole story about Gokarna. He visited Kerala and the various places in Trigarta. Dvaipayani Arya Deki Nityananda Rai Nirvindya Payoshni Tapti Brahmana Lilaya. He then visited goddess Parvati, who dwells on an island near Gokarna. Lord Nityananda also visited the near Vindhya, Payoshni, and Tapti rivers. Reva Mahishmati Puri Malate Gela Suparaka Dia Prabhu Pratichi Chalila. He went to the city of Mahishmati on the banks of the Reva River, and he saw Malatirtha. The Lord then passed through the holy district of Dwaraka on his way west. Ematavaya Paramananda Raya Brahmi Nityanandavaya Nahika Kihaya. The fearless, ecstatic Nityananda traveled in this way without fear of anyone. That's the sannyasi. Sannyasi has to be according to the Bhagavad Gita. What is it? Abhaya Sattva Samshuti Yani Yoga Pavyastati. Free of fear because he's cultivated knowledge. What is the knowledge? That the Lord is always protecting one and maintaining one. That's why when Lord Chaitanya traveled, he chanted, Krishna, 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 hey, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Bhagimam. The Lord had no control of his body due to his ecstatic love for Krishna. Sometimes he cried, sometimes he laughed. Who can understand his ecstatic moods? E Mata Nityananda Prabhura Brahmana. Daive Madhavendra Sahaila Darashana. This is actually a really important part. As the Lord traveled in this way, by the will of Providence, he met Sri Madhavendra Puri. So, we're going to skip the purport because it's over the whole history. And there's the story of Madhavendra Puri, of course, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And those who are going to go to Govardhan with me will actually hear the story of Madhavendra Puri as he resided at Govardhan. Madhavendra Puri Prema Maya Kalevara Prema Maya Yatasava Sangyanuchara. The body of Sri Madhavendra Puri is imbued with ecstatic love of God, and his followers partake of those same sentiments. So we are followers of Madhavendra Puri. Krishna Rasavinu Nara Nahika Hara Madhavendra Puri Dehe Krishnara Vihara. He did not relish anything other than loving sentiments for Lord Krishna, who enjoyed his pastimes in the body of Madhavendra Puri. Yanrashisha Prabhu Charya Vara Goshani Kika Hiba Ara Tanra Prinera Badai. What more can I say about the devotion of he who was the spiritual master of Shri Advaita Charya? Madhava Puri Re Dekilena Nityananda Dakshane Preme Mochahara Nispanda. When Nityananda saw Madhavendra Puri, he was immediately stunned in ecstatic love and fell to the ground unconscious. Nityanande Teki Matra Shi Madhava Puri Badila Muchitakaila Apana Pasare. Seeing Nityananda, Madhavendra Puri forgot himself and fell unconscious. Bhakti Rase Madhavendrari Sutra Dara Gora Chandra Iha Kahiyachena Bhare Bharat. Sri Gora Chandra has repeatedly stated that Sri Madhavendra Puri is the original root of worship and ecstatic love. So whenever Lord Chaitanya met someone who was exhibiting ecstatic love, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that that particular devotee had a connection with Madhavendra Puri, because he's the root of presentation, manifestation, transparency, giving this sampradaya, the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya sampradaya, the understanding of ecstatic love and the experience of ecstatic love. The word Bhakti Rasa is explained as follows. Codes of devotional service were handed down through Lakshmi Pati Tirtha of the Tattva branch. The codes of pure devotional mellas, however, were inaugurated by Sripad Madhavendra Puri. So, devotional service in awe and reverence, they were passed down by Lakshmi Pati Tirtha, who's in the Tattva Vada branch of the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. And then Sripad Madhavendra Puri, through his realization and connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was able to broaden the approach and help the devotees understand and come to the connection of understanding and experiencing the ecstatic love of the residents in Vrindavan on the Raga Nuga platform. transcending the Vaidhi platform of devotional service. That's Madhavendra Puri. After they both fell unconscious, the disciples, headed by Ishwara Puri, all began to cry. Of course, okay. Done mucha hailena donag darashane kandiya Ishwara Puri Adi Shishagane. Ishwara Puri, of course, later on became the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, at the time of Sri Madhavendra Puri meeting with Sri Nityananda Prabhu, his eternal associate and servant Sripad Ishwara Puri was present. The phrase Ishwara Puri Adi refers to the 9 nidhis, or the 9 sannyasis headed by Paramananda Puri, who also, some of them joined Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later on, like Brahmananda Puri and Paramananda Puri and Jagannath Puri. Jagannath Puri. Shaneke Haila Bhaya Trishti Dvijana Anyonye Galadare Karena Krandana. After some time, when they regained external consciousness, they held each other's neck and began to cry. Wow. Balugadiyaya Dvi Prabhu Prema Rase Unkara Kari Krishna Premera Avishe. Overwhelmed in ecstatic love for Krishna, then they rolled in the sand and cried out loudly. Phew, that's Sripad Nityananda and Sripad Madhavendra Puri. Phew. Manadi Vahe Lui Prabhu Nayane Prithvi Haila Shika Danyahena Mane. Tears of love flowed like rivers rise and soaked Mother Earth, thereby making her feel gratified. Kampa Ashru Pulaka Bavera Antanai Dvite He Viharaye Caitanya Goswami. Shivering, shedding tears, hands standing on end, and other ecstatic symptoms appeared without end, for Lord Chaitanya personally resides in their bodies. And Lord Chaitanya personally resides in the body of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Nityananda Bhole Yata Tirtha Karilana Samyaktahara Pala Ajipailana. Lord Nityananda said, whatever pilgrimage I have performed till now has today borne fruit. Nayane Dikinu Madhavendra Charana E Prema Dikya Danya Haila Jivana. Today I've seen the lotus feet of Madhavendra Puri. By seeing his ecstatic love of God, my life has become successful. Madhavendra Puri Nityanande Karil Kule Uttarana Spore Kanto Ruda Prema Jale. Madhavendra Puri embraced Nityananda and was unable to reply, for his throat was choked with love. Hena Priti Hailena Madhavendra Puri Baksha Haiti Nityanande Bahira Nakri. Madhavendra Puri was so pleased that he was unable to release Nityananda from his embrace. Ishwara Puri Brahmananda Puri Adiyata Sarvashisha Hailena Nityananda Irata. Ishwara Puri, Brahmananda Puri, and the other disciples of Madhavendra Puri all felt great attachment for Lord Nityananda. So let's go down to the verse. Sabiyata Mahajana Sambhasha Karina Krishna Prema Kaharo Sharirena Dekena. They had previously come across many sadhus, but they had never before seen such devotional symptoms. Sabe Payena Duka Durjana Sambhasya Daivavana Sabe Brahmana Dekya. They always felt distress while conversing with materialistic people, so they decided to travel through the forests. Anyonye se sabad dukera hailanasha. Anyonye deki Krishna premera prakasha. Now with this meeting, their distress was mitigated and their love for Krishna was aroused. Katadina Nityananda Madhavendra Sange Brahmena Shri Krishna Kata Parananda Range. For some days, Nityananda Prabhu traveled with Madhavendra Puri and relished discussing topics of Lord Krishna. Madhavendra Katha Ati Adbhuta Katana, Megade Kile Matra Haila Achetana. The characteristics of Madhavendra Puri are most wonderful. He fell unconscious just by seeing a dark cloud. So, that's called a vibhava, which is as described in the purport here, an udipana. So what is a vibhava? A vibhava is something that stimulates a devotee's love for Krishna. And there's two types of vibhavas, alambanas and udipanas. Alambana is directly Krishna, and udipana is something that reminds one of Krishna. That's why a cloud would remind one of Krishna if one's a great devotee. Aharisa Krishna preme madhya pera praya hase kande hai hai kare haya haya. Out of love for Krishna, he would day and night laugh, cry, and exclaim haya haya, almost like a drunkard. Nityananda Mahamata Govindera Rase Dulia Dulia Pade Ata Ata Hase. Lord Nityananda was intoxicated with loving sentiments for Lord Govinda. He would chant or laugh loudly and sway to and fro with love of God. Don Haradbhuta Bhava Deki Shishagana Niravadi Haribali Kariye Kirtana. Madhavendra's disciples constantly chanted the name of Hari as they observed their extraordinary symptoms of love. Rachidena Kehanahi Jani Prema Rase Katakala Yaya Keha Kshana Nahivase. The two forgot whether it was day or night in their absorption of ecstatic love. Although they remained together for a number of days, they consider that time hardly a moment. Madhavendra Sangayata Hayana Ke Janayetaha Krishna Chandra Se Pramana. Who could know all the incidents that took place between Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri? Only Krishna can know. Madhavendra Nityanante Chadite Napare Niravadi Nityananda Sanghati Vihare. Madhavendra Puri was unable to give up the association of Nityananda, constantly remained with him. Madhavendra Bole Premana Kata Se Mora Sarvatirtha Hena Prema Yata. Madhavendra Puri said, I've never seen such ecstatic love. Such love of God that is my favorite holy place. In other words, the person who is exhibiting love of God is called a tirtha. The word tirtha means like crossing place. It doesn't mean simply going on vacation. The Bhagavatam says, "Ya tirtha bhumi shalerichet janeshu abhigeshu eva gokara." Someone goes to a tirtha, just a bath, he's considered a cow and ass. And the Bhagavatam says, in the Kali Yuga, one will consider just like any old place where you go on vacation to be a holy place. That is Maya. Maya. So Jani Lu, Krishnara Kripa, Achimora Prate, Nityananda Hena Bandhu, Painu Sanghate. I know Krishna has bestowed his mercy on me because he has given me the association of Nityananda. Ye se stane yadi Nityananda Sanghaya, se stana sarvatirtha vaikuntari maya. Wherever Nityananda's association is found, that place is most sacred and completely transcendental. Nityananda hena bhakta shunile shavane avashapaive Krishna Chandra sejane. If one hears the name of Nityananda, he will certainly attain the lotus feet of Krishna Chandra. Nityananda, Nityananda. Nityananda yahara tilaikai deveshe rahe bhakta haile. Oh, say Krishna rapriya nahe. If one has the slightest envy for Nityananda, he is never favored by Krishna, even if he appears to be a devotee. So, there's many people who are envious of Nityananda. Actually, the story in the Caitanya Charitamrita, how Krishna's Kaviraj is brother actually committed offenses and one of Lord Nityananda's servants at his feet, and then that caused Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to leave the area, and therefore, what happened? That brother fell down. And there was another person, Ramchandra Khan. Ramchandra Khan, of course, first tried to get Haridas Thakur to fall down by hiring a prostitute, but the prostitute became a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That didn't work. And then Nityananda Prabhu visited his home and wanted a place to stay. And he said, "No, this is not an appropriate place to stay. You could stay in a cowshed of some, poor guy." And Nityananda got very upset and said, "This place is like a place fit for meat eaters." Later on, the Moguls, I don't want to be anti religious, the Moguls came and they basically took everything he had, this Ramchandra Khan, put him in jail and his whole family in jail, and then slaughtered a cow at the Durga Mandap, which is right outside of the house. So that's the result of offending Lord Nityananda or not giving Lord Nityananda proper respect. So in this way, Madhavendra Puri day and night exhibited affection for Nityananda with his speech and activities. And now we should end. Okay, we're stopping the sharing. And give me a second. We have to go to our participants link and allow you to unmute yourselves. This is ecstatic class. I mean, just hearing about Lord Nityananda is enough to give me goosebumps and get me to roll on the ground. So, you're allowed to unmute yourself, my dear Prabhus, Pravis, and Matajis, and Mata Batsas, whatever you are.
Gurudev, please accept.
So, okay, Rakesh, what is the question?
You just talked about Madan Gopal deity. Later on, he was renamed as Madan Mohan.
Yes.
Are we allowed to rename the
Later on,
deities?
Mother. What's that?
Are we allowed to rename the deities? Like,
Yes. Pure devotee can do anything he wants. Sanatana Goswami can do anything he wants. It's the same person, Madan Gopal, Madan Mohan. I mean, Krishna has many names. Like if you go to Vrindavan, Krishna is called Krishna, Gopal, Govinda. Is Mother Yashoda going to get upset with you? Or Lord Chaitanya is called Nimai, Vishwambar. So, yeah. Nam Namakari Bhavdan Nija Shara Shakti. Krishna has unlimited names. Sometimes Krishna is called God, which is an indirect name.
can you please tell us a bit of a story how to Madhav?
Sometimes the gopis called Pati, which means Lord or husband, like that. So yeah, why not? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, come on. We can't get uptight about these little things like that, man. Oh God. Okay, next question. Taya Radhika, you have a question.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my obeisances. So my question
Somebody
is,
bless.
I was wondering, like looking at the ecstatic symptoms that Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri were exhibiting, I was like wondering if there's longer stories about like normal, not normal, but I was thinking they're exhibiting that because they're like pure devotees, he's the Supreme Personality. So is there some stories about like more fallen souls who reach that level?
Yeah, it's called the Hare Krishna movement. It's
Yeah.
a history of the Hare Krishna movement.
Is there like a longer book?
Stories, yes. Oh, there's many stories. There's stories about people who were dacoits. I mean, that means robbers and thieves and murderers. And there's stories about and people like Jagai and Madai and Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. There's stories about Valmiki in the Ramayana. There's stories about a Jamil. Yeah, there's plenty of stories like that. But people are regular, actually even worse than the regular devotees, and then they achieved perfection. And in ISKCON we have Jayananda, who achieved perfection. And we have so many devotees who have actually achieved very high status in devotional service by Prabhupada's mercy. I mean, there's many, many stories about devotees. I mean, there was one devotee who was just, let me say, pigpen. He would, whoops. I shouldn't have said that. What happened here? Oh. Hold on a second. Somehow or other. Oh, here we go. There was a devotee who was named Pigpen. Peter got upset with that. Rasada. And he was just living in the bushes completely like crazy. And then he became completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And, passed away recently. And then there was Kushakrata Prabhu, who was very dysfunctional. And then he became a great author of different Vedic literatures. I mean, there's just so many stories. So many stories in ISKCON, and then so many stories in the Vedic literatures that there's hope. Also, we were telling a story on Sunday about King Prachini Bharti, who actually was told a nice story by Lord Nityananda, and then he surrendered, by Narada Muni, and then he surrendered. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, after listening about Lord Nityananda going to the holy place, I have a question about visiting other gods' temples. In case we visit the temple, what should we pray for from other gods? We should pray for pure devotion to Krishna. And we respect all the demigods, they're servants of Krishna. So that's what we do. We don't disrespect, we respect, and we pray, you are a servant of Krishna. Please, please, let me become Krishna conscious. That's what we pray for. We don't pray for money or whatever, material opulence. So, any other questions? If not,
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Hare
Is this
Krishna.
my respectful obeisances? August Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, what question?
I guess today I was actually reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 9, where it talks about just Madhavendra Puri being like the original seed of that fructified of the devotional service. And something that like Mahaprabhu, I believe in one of the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada quoted like Mahaprabhu saying that that his life was successful from meeting from being able to see Madhavendra Puri manifest in the form of Paramananda Puri, one of his disciples. And so I was just wondering, like we're reading about the meeting of Madhavendra Puri and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Are we going to does Mahaprabhu ever encounter Madhavendra Puri? Will we be reading about that as well?
No, he never externally encounters Madhavendra Puri. Of course, he encounters Ishwara Puri, who is Madhavendra Puri's disciple, and he takes initiation from him. But by that time, Madhavendra Puri had left the planet. So, no, there's like external. There may be some story in the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya or something like that, but as far as the actual biographies, there's no mention of that. Okay? All right. On that happy note, we will end. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see everybody or hear everybody, or you will all listen tomorrow evening.